Hi guys, this is Carol. Welcome back to my channel, and if you haven't done so just yet, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. Before we get started, let's wash our hands, put a mask on. If you need to, you can pause the video right here to follow these instructions. So as you can see, I already started this application. I had already buffed my nails and applied the tips, and so we pick up where we are trimming them to size, and I'm using a nail scissors to do that, measuring them, make sure that they all equal size. If you have one nail that is longer, just measure it up, trim it to fit, and follow the same on the opposite hand. Then you measure both hands together to make sure both the left and the right hand are equal, and then you're ready to proceed. Trim any excess length. Okay, at this point, I opt for a sanding band on a low setting, and right here, I'm just blending the natural tip, the enhancement to the natural tip, actually. And as you can see, my e-file is operating at 3000 RPMs, and I like to run it that slow because my natural nail is exposed, and if for some reason my hand should jump, I do not want to hit my natural nails and cause any temporary or permanent damage. Okay, some people opt to not doing the blending. If that's your choice, then continue. You can skip this part, but I liked doing that. And in this case, I'm using the not polish nail tips, and to me they're a little bit thick where you join them, so I like to blend them in. I'm also roughing the surface up of the extension. Some people also skip this process. Sometimes I do, but today I opted for doing it just to show that it can be done. And the purpose for doing that is that the plastic is slick on the top, and even though the acrylic will adhere to it, the purpose is that it does. I am going to be doing some encapsulation today, so I'm opting to do it. And then I repeat the process on the opposite hand. Take your time and be gentle with this process. It's going to add a few seconds to your application, but it's a few seconds well worth it. At this point, we are about to hand file it. Now, in the past, I have changed shapes. Like I may have had a coffin and I changed the coffin shape to a stiletto. And on some of my videos, I started off with a stiletto. Today, we're going to start off with the shaping of the nail prior to applying the acrylic. All right, so I'm taking the time to shape the nail into stilettos, and sometimes I think this enhances the shape if you do it before you actually add the acrylic. And for that, I'm using my not polished zebra triangular 100 grit hand file. These are reusable, the washable and reusable. And I'm going from side to side so that I don't overfile the nail one side to the other, and I am filing into the shape of a stiletto. Today we will be doing a freestyle Valentine's Day set. And when I tell you guys this was freestyle, I, once again, no clue. I did look up some inspiration for the nail, but I must have changed the brand of powder 3 times before I actually did what I did. And if you can keep up, I'll explain what I mean by that when we get there. So once again, I am shaping each one of the nails into the coffin shape. I'm sorry, stiletto shape. By filing the tips from side to side, 45-degree angle, and make sure you go side to side on one side and to the other side so that you don't overfile and twist the nail in a direction you don't want it to go in. And I wish you could have seen my wrist. I'm really close to the camera right here, but I'm using my whole hand to file, not just my wrist. A lot of people are complaining about blowing their wrists out, and right away it tells me that they're filing with their wrists and not the entire hand. I have another video on hand filing if you would like to look that up, but I'm using my whole hand. Like a wiper would go across your windshield, not just the wrist. Your wrist would not last long. And then when we get to the opposite hand, I'm not sure, I can't remember if we left that in or not, but I believe I did the opposite hand off camera because it does take some time for this process. And so we'll wait for the camera to catch up. We just have the pinky finger to pre-shape, and we will know whether or not we would be watching the left hand doing the right hand, or if we're going to move right along. But if you take the time to pre-shape the nails, I'm telling you, it will do wonders for what your nail job turns out to be in the end. Take a time to inspect them and make sure that they are actually what you want, and that the shapes start from right where the nail enhancement meets your natural nail is where your shaping on this particular one starts. And I'm looking at the nails from left to right, making sure that the shape of the nail stays in the middle. The point of the nail stays in the middle. All right, that's what they look like, and we will be using the not polished triple X bond. And I usually do 2 coats because not polished does not have a dehydrator. And whenever is the case that we use they don't have a dehydrator, I do it twice. However, you're only going to see one application here today, simply because the first application, my hand was considerably off screen, and we were able to cut it out and still had a second application to show. Okay, so you can opt to doing this twice. Most people may tell you, oh, you don't need to. That's just my personal preference. And like I said, that was a triple X bond. We started off with not polished powders, And then I switched to Entourage Nail Gallery powders, hence the reason why you would see a second bottle of monomer. All right, and we are using the shop cloth, and we're about to lay the acrylic. And usually when I put this thin layer of clear down, it could be for multiple reasons. My primary reason, one, is that I want to preserve the integrity of the prep work. So I don't touch it. If you're doing your guest nails, they don't touch the nail to introduce oils and other organic matters onto the nail, right? That's reason number one. Reason number two, we will be encapsulating these nails today, and I absolutely do not want the encapsulation touching my natural nail, especially if they glitter, butterflies, hearts, Louis Vuitton symbols, those type of stuff. If you put it directly on the natural nail, when it's time to remove them, it could be a challenge to remove them. So I put a thin layer down so it's not sitting directly on my natural nails. Either way is fine. You just choose which method works best for you, but that one works best for me. And then I'm going to do this to all 10 fingernails. I put the powder down, lightly brush over it so it covers the nail, the natural nail. Sometimes I put it on the enhancement, but I'm mainly interested in the natural nails. Make sure you cover it well. And sometimes I put it down and I stretch the powder like I just did. That's simply because I really want it thin. I don't want it like a thick clumpy layer there. We just need the nail to be covered, the natural nail that is. So now that we are almost finished fooling around with this part of the process, pay attention to the fact that once you finish applying the acrylic, your nails is already pre-shaped, guys. I can't even stress that enough. I love it. So now we're about to move into the actual encapsulation, the actual application of the acrylic. So make sure your brush is clean and free from any debris from previous application work. And I'm using a Entourage Nail Gallery in beige. And to be honest with you, I just did one nail because I don't know why I'm thinking pink and then I put beige down, but we ended up having a contrast nail with beige, which was fine. So first bead go down in the middle, pretty much where the nail tip and the enhancement meet, and that's where we put our first bead down, and I am working it forward. I still have a temperature issue in my room, and it really makes a difference, guys, what the temperature is in your room and how your powders react. I'm actually even learning how to do it in that room with the temperature not being right, but it's not ideal circumstances. Okay, so we put the powder down, pull it back. And we're going to go in for a little bit more, just to help me smooth the nail out, the acrylic application out. We go in for another bead. Put it down closer to the cuticle. And I'm going to tuck it in ever so gently, so I'm not touching the skin, but it's close to the cuticle and the sidewall. And if you get any drainage into the cuticle and the sidewall like we have right here, just clean that up while it's still wet and pliable. Usually I don't start on the ring finger. I don't even know why I did it that way today, but it kind of felt funny working on that finger first. But once I put the first bead down, I was committed to doing that finger first. Just put my little hand rest in there, which kind of moved everything out of place now. So it's probably going to block you from seeing me wiping my brush off. But you better believe, guys, I am wiping the brush off, okay? So here it is. I went in with a pink bead instead. And this was, I believe that was Kiera Sky. Guys, I told you I wasn't sure what it is I was doing today. Yes, it was Kiera Sky. And I would link in the description box what's the name of that powder. Changing my mind yet again. And we just smoothing it, making sure the application is nice and smooth. Tucking it in nicely into the cuticle and into the sidewalls, making sure you cover the entire nail. Clean up any spillage. I clean off my brush, and here I am going in with some encapsulation like I promised. And right now we are using a few hearts in different sizes. And I'm just picking them up, guys. I'm off camera, but all I'm doing is picking up the encapsulation. And you can see it in that little container. I decided I wanted you guys to actually see what I was doing. So we're picking up the encapsulation and placing them where I wanted. And as you guys know, when I put glitter or anything like that, I like it spaced out. I don't like them sitting on top of each other. Just my personal style. You put these down anyhow you see fit that works for you. And here it is. I am going in with some Entourage Nail Gallery Clear. I absolutely love the Entourage Nail Gallery Clear. And I am putting it down on top and over the encapsulation because they are free floating right now, and I'm just gently rolling the acrylic over them so as to not move them. Don't drag it too hard that you moving them out of place. You gonna join me on this, honey? I'm enlisting my husband to help me with this one, guys. Say hi, honey.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, so right now I'm just encapsulating the nails.
Okay. Do you have a plan for them individually?
You know, I was literally playing this one by ear. I did some, remember before you went running, I was doing some research. I just really couldn't settle down on what it is I wanted. So I was just playing around.
Okay. Well, let's see what you get at the end, then.
Yeah. They actually came out really cute. And that's because of luck. I really didn't have any game plan in mind.
So you do anything else other than encapsulate with those things, your pieces?
In the end, I'm going to do some hand-drawn juvenile art on it. But yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I just put a reverse bead and I'm going backwards on them, with my brush strokes. And that's really to smooth out the acrylic from the beginning. If it's smooth now, you have less work to do in the end. And also to make sure that the encapsulation was thick enough above the hearts so that when I hand file it or e-file it, I don't file them away.
That's why make it a little thicker.
Yeah, so I know I'm going to have to hand file it. So I just wanted to make sure that I had enough room to hand file it and that it didn't remove the encapsulation. And what's the point, right?
Right.
Isn't that cute though?
This is.
It's very clean. I don't know how else to say it. I had a red set on last week, and for me, Valentine's Day could be yellow. It could be any color. So I really wanted it to be red, but this came out really clean, and it still says Valentine's Day. And this one right here, I love the shape on that nail. Has a nice teardrop shape to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just encapsulating this one just so that I build the nail up to the right thickness. It's not too thin. So guys, we put a kissing booth in the salon so our clients could bring their loved ones and pretty much take their pictures like you would do with Santa. And every day, well, not every day, but we are adding different elements to it. So I cannot wait to show you guys at the end what it looks like as of right now.
Are you going to show during as each stage as it goes along pictures?
Yeah, I'll document each stage. And so this right here, honey, this is really, really cool, okay? So I seen someone on their channel do, so, and she did it around Christmas time. And many times I tried it, and this time is my first success at trying it. So I put an encapsulation down, and I'm basically putting a bead of clear over it, right? Look at it, you can actually see it. So it has sort of like a window in the nail to see that piece.
Okay.
After I did it, I thought I should have put some glitters on the bottom. But look at it. I have a little uh, bubble over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to make the bubble as circular as I possibly can. And keep the encapsulation, the heart, right in the middle of it. You better believe you're going to see me do this again. I think I'm going to try it again for St. Patrick's Day with a shamrock or something in there. So yes, I put a bubble down. And then I'm going to add a different color powder around it. I thought it was pretty damn cool. It's definitely a method that I'm going to have to perfect, but it was just like, oh, wow.
That's good.
So you see there's a different color powder going around it.
Yes.
And then I'm going to have to hand file. So this is pretty much still beginner video. So I don't want to make the artwork too complicated. But I thought it was simple enough that someone who's a beginner, who's experimenting with nail art, can do it. And like I said, it was like the first time I'm doing it. So it was total fun. I enjoyed doing it. Making the window. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. I guess if the powder around it was a different contrast, it
Yeah,
might.
I think the bubble need to be a little bit darker or lighter in comparison to the rest of it. It has to become more contrasted.
Yeah, the powder that went around it, but I was playing it safe since it was the first time I did it.
Right. But next time you may want to consider like a contrast difference between that bubble and the rest of the nail polish or color.
For sure.
Just so it stand out more. You know what I'm saying? As you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And your art will have to be the same thing so they'll stand out. So, you know, a little more contrasting between the three.
Yeah. Y'all. Hang in there with me. My finger is a little bit off camera. Sorry about that. And when I was editing, I didn't really see that. Otherwise, I would have cut it out. But if I did, it will also cut out the fact that, you know, I really wanted you guys to see me old school nail tech, pushing myself to do things that we wasn't doing back in the day. And so I'm just removing a little excess powder off the tip. Doesn't want to come off. There we go. What are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? Do you guys make a big deal about it? Is it just another day for you guys? I love Valentine. Anything that gets me to dress up, I love it.
I know you do.
Yeah, I love to get dressed up. And I can't wait since Halloween only comes once a year. I gotta find other opportunities to get dressed up.
Yep.
It's taking a little bit. I'm just filling in the gaps around it. And then I encapsulated the other nails. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave this one to dry, right? Because then I have to hand file it so the window opens up. So you can see an actual bubble there. Filling it in nicely.
Paying attention to the details of the nail.
Yeah. And since it's the first time I'm doing it and I'm going off of memory of what it is I thought she did, I have to kind of take my time with it. And so right here, I'm going to do this in a blend ombre is what I call them. The two powders are so close to each other. All I wanted to do is to have that powder play games with your eyes where you're really not sure what you're seeing. Is it pink or is it peach? I like to do that sometimes where the blend is so subtle. Just in case, when somebody else sees your work and they want to copy it. I don't mind people copying the work, but they shouldn't blueprint it. You know what I mean? I like them to have to wonder, what did she do right there?
To interpret their own way.
Right. So we're not copycats, guys. We are very creative beings. So whenever I see somebody's work, I never try to duplicate it 100%. I always try to make it my own. Similar but my own. Those fish sticks, those fish nuggets you make for dinner, honey,
Yeah.
was awesome.
Good.
I totally enjoyed it.
There's some still left.
You do?
Yeah, they're in the refrigerator.
My husband made chicken nuggets for dinner, guys. It was so good.
Oh, you mean fish nuggets?
Fish nuggets, yes. Cut fish nuggets. So right here we just, like I said, it's just a subtle ombre. You don't even see it really. I just like my work to be a little bit taxing on the brain, if I may. It's like, what did she do? I'm keeping my brush clean. And now I'm going to put a layer of clear in a second over that. So guys, I went back and I was looking at some of my videos, right? And just so that I always want to bring you guys relevant content, I am very critical of my own work. And I went back and I was looking at a couple of videos. It doesn't happen all the time, but I noticed that the cuticle edges was a little scallopy. I don't know how else to say it. It wasn't as smooth as I would like it to be. So on these videos, on this particular one, I was paying attention to the cuticle and the sidewall area that they're smooth. There isn't any sharp edges. If you know what I mean. I want it to be nice and circular, smooth, so that when I'm sealing the cuticle and the sidewalk and the side wall, it's not edgy. If you know what I mean.
Rough.
Thank you. It's not rough. So it's very subtle, and I'm probably being a little bit overcritical of my own work, but because I'm sharing the information with you guys, I wanted to make sure. See, I'm paying attention to making it smooth as well around the cuticle. You see the middle finger, how nice and smooth that is. The ring finger, nice and smooth around the cuticle. That's what I'm looking for. So just in case, if you're following me, I'm paying close attention to putting the cuticle, the powder down, and making sure that it's not rough, like my husband said, in the cuticle and the sidewall area. See, like right in the corner here, I'm making sure not only does it cover the entire nail, but that it's smoother.
Right.
I'm putting a little bit of powder just in the corner because I can see a little gap right there. So thank you guys for all the feedback that you have been giving me on the videos, that they're very informative, that you get a lot of, what should I say? You get a lot of ahas in my videos. I appreciate you guys letting me know that the content is relevant to what it is you want to learn. And if there is anything in particular that you would like to learn that I have not covered in my videos, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I answer them right away, and I will go on as soon as possible and make a video answering the question that you asked. Okay? I appreciate y'all.
Which hand are you doing right now?
So I'm using my dominant hand to do the non-dominant hand right now. And as you asked that, I switch from the dominant hand to the non-dominant hand, working on the dominant hand. Right? So I am right-handed, and I am working on my right hand with my left hand. And this thumbnail gave me a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes the thumbnails does that. That's why I have to keep practicing all the time.
Why is it so hard?
So I've talked about this in other videos. When you switch the hand, there's a moment of brain confusion that happens where your brain is wondering, why am I right-handed and you using the left hand to do my job, right? So when I do the thumb, especially if the thumb is the first nail that I'm doing, sometimes it just takes a second to kick in that, hey, we've done this before, so therefore I know you can do it. It just gives me that little bit of a...
If you started a different finger, would it help that or not?
Probably so. But I just feel like it probably would happen not as noticeable at different times, but you're right-handed, so your brain is like, whoa, wait a second, what are you doing? But guys, I wanted you to pay attention to the shape on that thumbnail. If you want to stop and roll the tape back a little bit, that thumbnail is sexy as hell. So here, this is the nail that we put the little window, the bubble, right? So you notice I'm filing on top of the nail right here. I'm opening up by filing over the top like that, I'm actually removing product, right? So it's removing any product that is on top of the bubble that would let you see the little encapsulation I have on the inside. It's actually removing it, and all you would see is the clear window, which is pretty damn cool, guys. I remember the first time I saw somebody do that, I was like, I'm trying to figure out who it is. I don't want to give away the person's credit for doing that, but I believe it was Gabby. Yeah, I believe it was Gabby I saw do that. It was beautiful. On bomb nails, Gabby on bomb nails. If I can find a video where she did it, I would link it in the description box, but I promise you it was beautiful. And so here it is, I'm moving on to the next finger. Was it Gabby? I believe it was. She did an absolutely beautiful job with it. And here is the ring finger with that sort of like teardrop shape. Beautiful. And it came out that way simply because I took the time to shape it without acrylic on it in the stage of, you know, you just apply the enhancement.
Right.
Yeah. And right now I'm just going for retrofitting the nail that it fit within the sidewall. And then here is the pinky. And on the other hand, I believe we're going to speed up the video. Oh, we're about to do some e-filing. So please put a mask on. And here we are with some e-filing. So I do have my dust collector out. And I'm using a medium sanding band or a medium arbor band. And I just cleaning up the sides, taking off bulk, making the nail perfect as far as I'm concerned. So I slowed the video down here because I wanted to show you some cuticle work. If you can pinch and expand your video at this point, I felt like I really needed to show what we are doing when we are going around the cuticle. And so you can see where you can see my cuticle, the enhancements, and if you look closely, you will also see my natural nail at the cuticle area. And then I call it a pregnancy. On the side of the nail, if you have a little bulge on the side, we don't want the nail to be bulgy on the side. We want a nice smooth shape. So right here, you see me going around the cuticle and making sure that the nail is sealed properly. The enhancement is sealed properly to the nail. Taking out any wrongness on the top of the nail. And making sure that when I seal also that the nail does not attract hairs getting stuck in the back by the cuticle. Otherwise, you can experience lifting. And we're just doing the same thing on the other nails. And this is at regular speed here. See the pregnancy on the side right there? That little bulge over the side. And it's not allowing the nail to fit completely in the sidewall. So you want to remove that.
Can that be avoided?
Well, you know, the powders, most of today's acrylic powder is self-leveling, which means when you put it down, it will kind of pull itself together and shape itself. And the reason why we have to file is because, you know, sometimes while it's setting, gravity is also pushing down on it. And if you don't take the time to set it properly and keep the brush and keep it in place, it just expands a little to the side. Nothing's wrong. It's just that's why when we hand file and e-file, those are the things that we policing up. So you can see on the side, right? Hold on, when I turn my finger, a little bit of a bulge on the side, right there. She heard me.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of bulge on the side right there that I wanted to make sure that the bulge goes away. And that's what I'm calling the pregnancy. You know, some people get pregnant and you see the belly from the side. That's what it looked like. But that's a sexy nail right there. That is sexy as hell. Same thing. And if you notice, I'm also starting to retrofit the nails from the back first. There is a possibility, well, because these are stilettos, not so much. But sometimes when you are doing like coffins and stuff, if you start from the front, when you retrofit in the nail, you could actually make the front too skinny for the back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The proportions would not be right. So I start from right there, police up the sidewall and the cuticle, Make sure it's not too humpy on the top. I'm taking any wrongness off the top that I don't want up there. And the wrongness on the top can distort the shape. We're almost there, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Also, thank you to my husband for helping me narrate this video. Sometimes I don't mind making the videos, but having to do the voiceovers is like, oh my God. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
You're so kind. It's kind of pretty. I probably could have used a different color pink instead of the beige nail, but like I said, I had no clue what it is I set out to do. I just knew I needed a video. Isn't that nail sexy? Yo, OMG. So on the opposite hand, I just switched, and for the opposite hand, I have a fine tornado bit, and we have a little bit of spillage here, and if you notice, I'm pulling back on the skin of my finger, and expand the video here, guys, so you can see the flooding that I have there. You have to remove all of it. You'll see big pieces flying simply because I am literally removing flooding, and so we have bigger pieces that we're trying to remove to make sure that we don't have what do you call it, flooding left over. I told you this thumb gave me a hard time. So we had a couple of snow days this last week, guys. We had one on Monday and one on Friday. So I am being lazy now. I don't want Monday to come. Did you enjoy your 2 days off, honey?
Yes, I did.
On Friday, we looked out the window. It was still snowing, and his company had given a 2-hour delay.
Yep.
Obviously, and the roads were bad. So we were like, oh, hell no. All my clients had gone ahead and canceled between the night before and the morning of, but his company was like, yeah, 2-hour delay. Nah, you ain't going nowhere. I totally enjoyed your company, though.
Good.
So right now I am cleaning up any spillage I had, and believe you me, guys, on this hand I had some serious spillage. Thank you. And as I remove the spillage in the cuticle and the sidewall, you can literally see it flying. And I'm pulling back on the skin to make sure that I got it all out of there. And then I'm smoothing the nail down to the back so that I don't have any ridges back there, so it doesn't pull my hair, my client's hair. Yes, that's a real thing, guys, where you can get hair underneath the cuticle area if the nail is not sealed properly. Boy, you can see them chunks flying. I could have edited that part of the video off camera, but I wanted to show what it takes to clean up the spillage if you end up flooding the nail. Ideally, we don't want you to do it. But if you do, please do not move on until you completely clean it up. Alrighty, looking good, not too shabby at all. And you can really see the seal on this pinky nail, where you can see the nail enhancement, my natural nail, and the cuticle. Perfect. So I'm switching out here. I believe I'm gonna go in with a fine arbor band. Yes, I am. And once again, we're going to go over those nails, making sure that there's no lumps and bumps and that it's smoothness and prepped for either nail art or a gel or nail polish application. And for those of you who are scared to go into the area, because it's an arbor band, have at it. You'll be fine. At this point, you shouldn't really have any lumps and bumps. But if you do, spend some time with your fine sanding band. Go up and down and then go sideways as well. Like so. So that's the up and down motion right there. Clean up from the underneath as well. And I told you guys I paid attention to my videos, and when I'm looking to see if there's anything I can improve, I felt like I could improve the smoothness on the cuticle. So let's all pay attention to the smoothness around the cuticle. Let me know if that was helpful to you. Alrighty, and on the opposite hand, we're going to do the absolute same thing, except we're just going to speed the video up in the essence of time. This is Sunday, and I am using my valuable family time to spend it editing this video for you guys. So I'm cheating sometimes whenever I get an opportunity to cheat. That's what I do. So that's what I'm doing right here. You all already saw me spend some time cleaning up the flooding on this hand. And so now I just went over with a fine arbor band. And now we're going to buff it. I'm opting to use a sponge rectangular buffer. You guys know I like to use the hand file one, but today we are using the rectangular buffer ones. We're going to buff using all three sides, including buffing the cuticle area. And in this case, I buffed the entire hand with the rough side, and then I'm going to buff the entire hand with the medium size, and then I'm going to go down all the way down to the, see, I flipped it. I'm paying attention to them cuticle, guys. Like I said, when I looked at my work, I was like, okay, I don't want anyone who's following my channel to miss out on smooth cuticles because I did not draw that to your attention. So this video was all about the cuticles today, guys. And I'm filing on the bottom with the fine side, just in case the nails were sharp. Sometimes when I do stilettos, they can come out sharp on the bottom. And that just means you did some really good hand filing work, but you really don't want sharp nails like that. And then, you know, my nails will not be complete if I didn't use my ShamWow hand buffer. I love that thing. It really smooths out the surface of the nail, making it ready for gel application, polish application, whatever you want to do. And of course, guys, when I'm finished here, I'm gonna do my first application of cuticle oil. And just like when you finish your nails, the top coat gives you a really nice shine to the nails so you can see through the acrylic really beautifully. One of the reasons why I put the cuticle oil down at this time is I'm checking to make sure that my cuticles are sealed and the sidewalls are sealed. If it's not, it's okay to do it with a little bit of oil on your nail. You can go back with an arbor band or a fine sanding bit, a fine nail drill bit, just in case you didn't get the cuticle sealed completely, but that's why I like to do it, okay? And here I'm using some black nail art gel from Not Polish and some hot pink, the number 3 in the nail art collection that I have. And on the ring finger, I'm just drawing some juvenile art on those fingers. So it's going to have an X and an O. My version of an O anyways. And as I was drawing these guys, I was nuking it for 10 seconds at a time so that I don't mess up the drawings. And in between colors, I was cleaning the brush off in a pinch of acetone. And there goes a little heart. I'm drawing a little heart in there. On the thumb, I did, once again, some X and O's, a heart, and an arrow. You can choose at this point, when it comes to the artwork part, you don't have to do exactly what I do. Please make this artwork yours. And I don't use my liner brush enough, so I'm struggling with it. But if you have a better artwork job with your liner brush, girl, go for it. And here we just topping it off with a generous application of, not too thick now, application of clear. And regardless of the fact that I really didn't know what it is I wanted to do, I think this is wearable. I'm definitely gonna wear it. Ooh, beautiful. Very, very pretty. So this is sort of like a simple freestyle nail set for a beginner. And then I'm going to finish up the opposite hand off camera. So by the time I come back, it will be both hands complete. I didn't want the video to go on forever and ever. And here comes the reveal. I absolutely, totally love it. And stay tuned for a glimpse into what our kissing booth in the salon looks like. But I absolutely love them, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for watching. As promised, that's me in our kissing booth. It's gonna get bigger every day.